Kyrie Irving has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets. That's according to our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj is also reporting that there were some talks on a new deal for Irving, but no deal was reached and a trade request was delivered, he is reporting, to the organization today. So I'm joined by Chiney Ogwumike, Tristan Thompson, Kendrick Perkins. That empty chair there is because Richard Jefferson is on his way. That's how big this news is today. But Perk, I want to start with you here as we wait for Adrian Wojnarowski to join us. Just your initial reaction.
What reaction? This is Kyrie Irving, a guy that you cannot trust. Didn't Kyrie Irving just say that Kevin Durant is his best friend, right? So where's the loyalty, right? If that's your best friend, I don't want that. Give me an enemy. For the simple fact that when you look at how Kevin Durant has been riding for Kyrie Irving since they arrived in Brooklyn, Grant standing behind them through whatever his beliefs were, whatever he was doing, riding with him over James Harden. Kyrie Irving is the reason that James Harden left. And now we get to this point with his contract, right? And now all of a sudden, the Brooklyn Nets didn't match or agree to what Kyrie wanted them to agree upon. But 2 years ago, didn't the Brooklyn Nets try to give him, Kevin Durant, and James Harden a contract extension?
Yes.
Didn't Kyrie Irving turn it down?
And James, yes.
And James Harden. Okay, so now we get here. You have a stretch over a 2-week period where you've been playing outstanding basketball. Now all of a sudden, that same contract that they had for you that you turned down, you want them to put that right back in front of your face again? And don't come give me all this about, oh, they could trade them to the Lakers for Russell Westbrook. First of all, the Brooklyn Nets don't have to do a damn thing. They need to do what's best for the Brooklyn Nets. But again, we're here, supposed to be celebrating Jordan. This is supposed to be MJ Day. And we're here dealing with Kyrie Irving again.
Well, we are waiting for Adrian Wojnarowski to join us. He will in just a couple of minutes, and we'll have some of the answers to those questions, like which teams potentially could trade for Kyrie Irving. But in the meantime, Tristan, you played with him. What do you make of all of this?
I mean, I think, listen, at the end of the day, first of all, with the contract extension, the money went up. So me as a player, you offered me an extension in 2021 compared to now, the money went up. So I'm not leaving no money on the table for none of these owners, Perks. So that's the first thing. Second of all, listen, Kyrie bought in. Listen, this is not just a Kyrie decision. I can guarantee you right now, Kyrie definitely spoke to, easy money sniper, Kevin Durant, and definitely had this discussion. And Kevin Durant, I can almost guarantee, probably gave his blessing on it. Because you know what? Kevin Durant's probably next asking out. Because, listen, Kyrie bought in. He didn't want Steve Nash there in the first place. He didn't think he was a good enough coach for the team. Bought in, played well. Kevin Durant gets hurt. He's averaging 30 points per game, playing at a high level, playing like an all-star starter. Now he walks in, like I would have told Rich Paul to do, walk in there and ask for extension. And if they don't want to give an extension, we're out of here. So he did what he had to do. Of course, his personal stuff with how he felt publicly obviously didn't go well with the community and went well with the team. But listen, at the end of the day, he's an all-star. He's playing at a high level. He's giving you exactly what you asked for, to be available and put the team on his back. If you don't want to cut the check, you got to go. Perk, they did the same thing with you in Boston. Same thing in Boston. You went to Danny Ainge. You went to Danny Ainge, and you wanted your money, and you said no. We had this discussion before.
Well, look who's joining us. Look who's joining us here. Richard Jefferson getting mic'd up. We will get his thoughts in just a couple of minutes.
You wanted an extension with Boston, and they said no, and then you went to OKC and got the extension.
To be available?
He was available. He's been playing. He's playing all the games this year.
Has he been available?
He's averaging 37 and
has he been available since he got in Brooklyn?
RJ, sit down. You're late.
Has he been available since he got in Brooklyn?
He's been available this season.
Has he been available?
What you've done for me right now? What have you done for me right now? What have you done for me right now? What have you done for me right now?
Clearly, I mean, he's been available as of late, right, for Brooklyn. That's what you're saying. But when you're looking at the total body of work here, as Richard, we're going to let you get settled. Chiney, I'm curious your thoughts as we try to make sense of this trade request from Kyrie Irving.
I think that's the biggest issue with Kyrie, trying to make sense of his decisions at times. Because oftentimes with Kyrie, it's all mixed messages. But at the same time, I see a little bit of validity to both of your arguments. This is how I see it. All right, the big question is, what is your number one main thing? I mean, for him right now, it is that contract extension. And so he's trying to make sure that he secures that. And I think if you're the Nets, you don't want him to leave for free, right? You want to leave in a position of strength. But when it comes to Kyrie, I just really hold my breath oftentimes, because while he probably is talking to Kevin Durant about this scenario, it just does not bode well for the perception of what he will be for years to come when you're trying to get this extension. You know what I mean? When I was looking at this, we're in the same McDonald's All-American class. Oh, we're all in the same McDonald's.
All of us in the same McDonald's.
2010, right?
Yeah,
and
yep.
if you talk to guys and women of our age, 30s, what do they want? That's the number one thing. They have families and they want that extension.
Right.
And so when I remove the actual, I guess the preconceived notions we have from Kyrie based on his lack of availability, I understand why he's trying to force their hand right now. But then that hand is going to really be small because there's certain teams that will see this as an asset that is not trustworthy. But there are certain teams that will still take him. And that's why I say it comes down to mixed messages. And also, these are two scenarios for Kyrie Irving. He wants to play in a place where he can compete, right? But then also a place where he has players he can trust. And those are the two areas that I think he's trying to push for, whether that's Brooklyn or beyond.
I want to bring in our senior writer, Zach Lowe, into this conversation. Yeah. Zach, you are plugged in Brooklyn. What is the most important thing to look at as we're all sort of weighing this trade request?
Well, look, the most important thing is always Kevin Durant and what this means for Kevin Durant. And I think it's too early right now, at least for me, to say what this means for Kevin Durant. But let's go back. Here's what the Nets are at risk of right now. God, the Nets. Every time Kevin Durant gets hurt, they descend into the 8th circle of hell. Kevin Durant can't get hurt. Every time he gets hurt, it's like chaos, complete chaos. They traded a bunch of stuff for James Harden, all their young players, all their picks for James Harden. Hooray! Then they traded James Harden for Ben Simmons, who currently is giving them basically nothing, and some draft picks too. Now they may be in a position where they have to trade Kyrie Irving for pennies on the dollar. Because remember, in June, not long ago, Kyrie Irving made a whole drama about how he might not opt into his contract and he was willing to work with the Nets on a sign and trade, and nobody was really all that interested in signing and trading for Kyrie Irving. So guess what? He opted in and he said, I'll see you in the fall. By the way, 2 weeks ago, he made a comment about how this year was different with Kevin Durant injured because the Nets had no halfway in guys in their locker room. No halfway in guys, okay? And if they make that kind of trade for Kyrie, and I'm not saying they will, that's pennies on the dollar for Kyrie, potentially for Harden, and that is the big risk for Durant because I don't know what Kevin Durant wants. Richard may be right that Kevin Durant could sit here and say, build around me. I'm Kevin Durant. Just give me surrounding talent that makes sense. I'll make it work. I'm that good. But there comes a time when the surrounding talent just isn't good enough, and the Nets are on the brink of once again becoming this sort of unsalvageable situation. And it's just shocking that we're here because this team won 18 out of 21 games.
Yeah.
Like yesterday. They look like a championship contender. Kyrie was humming. KD was humming. Kyrie was talking about nobody's halfway in. We're going to be fine. And we're here? We're here?
Yeah.
2 weeks after that halfway in comment, we're here? I wonder why. It's about the extension. It's about the money. And with apologies to Kyrie Irving, he has not been nearly reliable enough for 4 years now for the Brooklyn Nets to give him the kind of contract extension that he probably wanted.
Well, and as you were talking,
Sorry, I had a lot to say.
No, don't be sorry. We were just sitting up here in the last couple of days. I was talking about it, how I was just in Brooklyn, and how it seemed like Kyrie Irving was in such a good place that this Nets team was finally starting to hum. You're telling me that's how they get you.
No, that's how they get you.
That's
how they get you. But ultimately, this is about the extension. This is about the extension. And the Nets are like, hey, listen, we appreciate the great behavior for the last couple months, but finish it off. Finish it off in the season. Finish it off. Have a great postseason run. Y'all potentially have a championship team when Kevin Durant comes back. Y'all go to the conference finals. You win a championship. You go to the NBA finals.
Yeah.
That extension is going to come. But right now, you need to see more quality work before you go give a person a 4-year extension or a 5-year extension at the amount of money that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a major investment.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.